The 8th anniversary is just about to start on the global version of Dokkan Battle, and to celebrate, I'm going to be doing a showcase of the Dragon Ball Z Duo here. I did do a showcase of the GT Duo earlier today. If you want to check that out, feel free to do so, right? Fresh off the press after recording that video, and I'm very excited to show this unit off because they hold a special place in my heart, and I honestly think this unit is underrated by the community. Now, the Dragon Ball Z Duo are quite strong, just like the GT Duo. The biggest, the biggest thing about the release is the standby mechanic, which I do think that this standby mechanic they have is very, very strong. But we'll get to that later. We'll talk about their base form first here and what exactly they're doing. So, this unit does permanently stack attack. On their 18 key, they greatly raise defense. And their 12 key, they have a 30% defense raise instead. So, it's 50% of the 18 key and then 30% of the 12 key, just to confirm with you. They could do a lot of additionals, right? Once they hit 18 key, they get additional that has a great chance to become a super. And at 24 key, they have a guaranteed additional super attack. So we are able to hit that here. Now, depending on the slot they're in, they either get 1 key and per key sphere obtained and an extra 100% defense. That's in the first slot. If they're in the second or third slot, they get 2 key per key sphere obtained and an extra 100% attack. So you can kind of play around how you want to use it. Right here in this situation, I will have them in slot 1. Because I don't want them to actually one-shot this Shenron in the second slot. I want to make sure they're able to get as many attacks as possible to stack up more defense and then prepare their standby mode. Their standby skill can be used if your HP is either 50% or less, or from the 4th turn if you've done 4 attacks. Does not have to be super attacks, it just has to be 4 attacks that they perform. So as long as they're able to accomplish that, we're able to use the standby skill and enter the standby mode, which will be where we could use the actual super spirit bomb, the main point of the unit, right? The main attraction of the unit right there. So again, we got the second super attack, which is the 70% chance there. Now we're going to go ahead and get the third super attack right here. And this actually, I think, does kill Sin before we could potentially get the hidden potential system super attack. Now, the issue with this unit is, yeah, you'll see right there, I did build them with crit, just so the Super Spirit Bomb can crit, but they do build up crit in their passive as well, and it just kind of like almost works against them, because their unit, they want to really be able to build up, and if they're not able to build up their defense, it can get to a situation where we'll see next turn, it'll be, what, turn 3 for them? And we will be unable to use the, not only just the standby skill, but we're going to have an issue with their defense. Their defense may be a little too low. We actually did fall under 50% here. So if we wanted to, we could use the standby skill, but I'll see if I want to actually use the standby skill or not. I think I probably will save the standby skill, because I want to show another thing you could do with Bulma, right? If you have Bulma, you could quote-unquote supercharge the standby skill and the Spirit Bomb gauge, right? The reason why is because Bulma changes the entire key sphere field to, basically to STR types, and that all counts towards building up the gauge, which we'll talk about in a bit. But yeah, since we're also under 50%, this unit's going to have less stats than what, we usually would have. Above 50%, they get an extra 50% attack and defense, which it will matter for sure, I think, because they're a defense stacking unit, and that's just how the defense stacking will kind of play together, right? But that's pretty much it with the unit, right? It's kind of very similar to the GT Duo, so if you saw the previous video, you'll get what I'm talking about there. So we could use the standby here if I want. I think I will not use the standby. What I'm going to do is, should I use it here? I'm considering, because, okay, let me think about it. The standby, once you use a standby, it's for 5 turns. So if I use it here, I could technically supercharge the Spirit Bomb to a really huge amount with Bulma, but I feel like that's not going to necessarily be too common. So I'm going to wait an extra turn, is what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to wait an extra turn to actually be able to quote-unquote supercharge the Spirit Bomb out. I think that'll just be the best move. We'll put Goku in slot 1 there. And in slot 2, we'll be able to see the extra attack they get. So they're getting supported by Bulma. They have a majority of their links active. Oh, that actually did more damage than I thought. Because they haven't really built up any of their damage reduction, basically, right? Which is an issue I found with running double, like, GT Duo. They can have issues with, like, both of them building up their damage reduction, because this team does so much damage, right? Even Goku is, like, you know, getting all these additionals in my build, and he has built-in crits, right? So that's a thing with Goku. But now we can see the Dragon Ball Z Duo here. Yeah, 9.53. Doesn't even have Super Saiyan active, which would help them out quite a bit, I think. And again, we are getting Bulma support, so we just have to keep that in mind there. So they got the additional normal there, unfortunately, but we got the 24k super. So we are good, and they got a couple of stacks at this point. So what I might do is I think I'm going to skip this next rotation with Bulma. It doesn't really matter to see this rotation here with Bulma. I'm trying to think, how should I do these? I think I probably should do this. Again, I'm going to get a low key amount with you. 6 key with you is perfect. And then we'll grab... I guess I have to grab this with you, God Goku, huh? I'm going to make sure Piccolo doesn't die first, this instantly. Well, oh, that's what D3 dodge. Piccolo would have died there, by the way. He's still building up. God Goku dodge. Okay, very good. I guess I'll just let this play, and we'll talk about the standby skill in the meantime. So, again, what happens is once we enter the standby mode, we stand by for 5 turns, and then during which the charge count increases by 1 per key sphere obtained by all allies. So that includes everyone that would be, you know, on the rotation and stuff like that, or the next rotation, whenever this character is in standby mode. And that's what I was talking about with Bulma. When Bulma changes the entire field to SDR key spheres, that'll be 23 extra charge counts, right? And even if you go past the requirements to use the Super Spirit Bomb, that still does go directly into the damage that the Super Spirit Bomb will do. So I guess I'll talk about the 2 Spirit Bombs that we have. There's Finish Attack 1, which is the normal Spirit Bomb. Finish Attack 2, which is the Super Spirit Bomb. If you're under 38 charge counts, you could use the normal Spirit Bomb. It has 15% attack during that attack per charge count and causes ultimate damage, whilst the Super Spirit Bomb has a 20% attack raise temporarily per charge count, causes super ultimate damage to the enemy, right? So it's not only a higher modifier, but you get an extra 5% attack per charge count, which will matter to a pretty significant difference in terms of the damage you could do. So this unit's at 790k here, start of turn. Yeah, it is a good time to use the standby skill here. We'll play this animation. 少しでも時間を稼ぐ。 Alright, so you see that there is obviously a difference in what this unit's kit does. Their link set also just changed slightly, so they gain Saiyan lineage and tough as nails instead of Super Saiyan and... what's the other link? Golden Warrior I think is the other link that they have, right? Yeah, Golden Warrior and Super Saiyan do change to those 2 links, which Saiyan lineage is something common, but tough as nails you're not really going to get. Now, this unit cannot attack. Unlike the Dragon Ball GT Duo who can attack in their standby skill, this unit doesn't attack. However, they're like, I would say at this point they're the second best defensive unit in the game because we have Oop. But this unit is really strong defensively. So yeah, they're at 828k defense. They guarantee guard, and then they change a random type of key sphere to rainbow. What happens is they get 8% damage reduction per key sphere they obtain. So if we take a look right here, we're getting 8 times 8 is 64. So they're getting 64% damage reduction on top of guard with 800k defense. They just can't take damage, right? That's just how it is. And you see we grab 8 right there, and then the bar is slowly going up. So now we have 16 charges. This is another 7. So we're going to go up to what, 23 charges right there? Yep. And that's basically how this unit does operate. We're able to get all these different charges up. There is also a attack you could do with Orange Piccolo. And what happens is, so you can grab all the orbs with the characters, right? Then you could essentially, like, so let me, I guess I could explain it better when we get to that next turn. But you see this unit take 0 damage from Shenron. Shenron is by far one of the hardest hitting bosses in the game. It's just gonna be impossible for this unit to take damage. This unit actually is hitting really hard. 14 mil? I didn't expect him to hit this hard. Wow. Okay, so I may not be able to show the Orange Piccolo kind of strat, but I'll talk about it. So what happens is when Orange Piccolo goes into Giant and then exit Giants, it kind of resets the turn. So what happens is you could grab orbs with the first 2 characters and then pop Piccolo in the 3rd slot. Then you go Giant Piccolo, right? Giant Orange Piccolo. Then once you come back, the turn resets, so you get to pick orbs again, which will really supercharge the Spirit Bomb, which could make it do or squeeze out a lot extra damage from the Spirit Bomb there. Now here I'm not going to be able to show it because Omega is at, or Shenron is at way too little HP, and I'm a little worried about having to do that there. So that's the issue. So we're going to go ahead and do this. Actually, if this unit, they built up reduction, right? I think so. They have already built up some reduction. We'll just, let me just, I'm trying to think of how to do it. We'll just use this first. We'll put Bulma on the first slot. That should be okay. Actually, it doesn't really matter who grabs orbs. Actually, would it be better if Piccolo grabs these orbs instead of Bulma? Or should I give it to them? I think I'll do this. I'll give it to these guys, like that. Bam. It doesn't really matter who grabs the orbs. We'll get 6 with you. Bam. And then Piccolo, I guess I'll just get these 5. I'm worried about Piccolo killing. See, it's going to be an issue. We're going to hit, like, max anyways. I'm just scared we're not going to get the Spirit Bomb next turn. That's the only thing I'm scared about. I think we should be okay. Since I didn't get Bulma her orbs, she's not going to be, like, getting a nuke on the enemy, right? Hopefully Shenron supers either this unit or Bulma. That would obviously be preferred. If he supers Piccolo at the ends, Piccolo probably would die, I think. Even though he's with Bulma support. Well, we have 600k HP. He has 70% damage reduction. It's hard to say. It is definitely hard to say. Bulma's not going to guarantee double super here, which is good. Yeah, there's no way Piccolo's going to be able to kill. It matters if Piccolo, like, gets killed by Sin or not. That's the only thing. What if Sin comes back and is like, yeah, you dodged my super earlier, man? You're dead now. Oh, I really wish I put them in the last slot now. Oh, okay, we're good. Okay. We're good, guys. Another thing we'll talk about is the Dragon Ball GT Duo. Their 80% support really does help this unit. So, I guess to break it down, this unit also does get 500% attack when the finish skill is activated. The Dragon Ball Dragon Ball Z Duo, which is huge, right? That's a very, very huge attack buff that's multiplicative. And what happens is 20% attack per charge count that they use, which is going to be really good. I could technically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them at the back. We're going to go ahead and get this in here. Bam. Just like that. We're going to go ahead and grab 6 key spheres with you here. We're going to grab an extra, I guess, 5 here with you. So, bam, we have the supercharged Spirit Bomb. 68 charge counts. That's really, really good. That's something that, if you don't have Bulma, you're not really going to see it this high. But at this point, like, the enemy's dead already anyway. So, 68 times 20 is 1,360. So, that's 1,360 attack, I believe, right? Because it's, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, per charge count. So, 20% per charge count. And then they get the 500% attack and finish skill. So this it's just disgusting. It's actually disgusting. And then we have, again, the support from you. We have most links active. Like, you could really charge the Spirit Bomb to do absurd amounts of damage, which we'll show here. But again, obviously, this unit can't crit. They don't have crit in their passive. So that's why I say giving them crit in their hidden potential system is better. I'm thinking about giving them more crit actually, compared to what my build is with them currently. I think a little more crit would be better, like 18 additional and then like 23 crit. I think that's like a better build than going most additional, but let's play this right here. Oh dude, I'm so excited. This is my like favorite animation in the game. No critical hit, man, but they still did 32 million damage. Now look at this beautiful KO screen. That's so good. Now, one extra thing, or I guess there's two extra things I should know. What happens is you go back to the Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta after you do the finish skill. So if you have them in the third slot like that and use it, they're just going to be in the third slot as they are, or I guess wherever they're going to be in the rotation, right? Wherever you use the Spirit Bomb, you could place them whatever you want if you didn't collect the orbs before then. But they just go back to how they were pre-standby, and that's how it is. You also want to make sure you use the standby before 5 turns, because you are only in the standby mode for 5 turns. So once those 5 turns elapse, you're kind of cooked, right? You basically have to use the Spirit Bomb there. And they also only change key spheres and guard for 4 turns. So that 5th turn, you're not going to be able to guard or have the orb changing anymore, right? And one extra thing, the standby, you can't use multiple of the same type of standbys at the same time. So let's say you have the Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta and the new Super Saiyan 4 LR Goku on the same team. Even though they're different characters, they're the same type of standby. I heard about this, people trying to use this guy in the free-to-play Majin Vegeta, like Bobbity unit, right? You can't use their standbys at the same time. From what I heard, I actually never tried it out myself. If I'm wrong, feel free to please let me know in the comments and I'll pin it. But you shouldn't be able to use them at the same time because they're the same type of standby skill, where you charge the finish skill per key sphere that you obtain with like that bar. So because of that, that kind of lowers the value for what this unit is. And obviously you also can't do it for the same character regardless. So if you're running double of this unit, like double these for them, you would have to keep one of them basically untransformed for the entire battle and only use the Spirit Bomb with the other unit. Which in that case, if you have like a 55% one, you would use it with the Rainbow Friend or something like that, right? But those are two things I want to bring across that I think will be very important for the future mostly, but just knowledge that you guys have for now, and then you just remember for the future rather than trying and you're like, oh, I actually can't do this, right? Because I'm sure many people will want to get the Super Saiyan 4 Goku that's in the Tanabata, right? Anyways, I'm done here. Let me know what you guys think about this Dragon Ball Z Duo. Do you think they looked better here than what you expected them to? Maybe you think they're the same here. But I think they look pretty good. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.